Hey everybody, welcome. Herb's Happy Hour going on right now. Yes, I am Herb, Tim Herb Alexander. Um, and today I have lined up a really freaking cool guy. When he gets up in here, when he gets on here, Bill, he's gonna come on. Um, I told him to give me like 5 minutes so I could do some plugs. Everybody joining right now. So don't forget herbcider.com. This is a happy hour, and if you're at home, maybe if you're drinking some, that'd be great. If not, you should order some. Herbcider.com, where we can send it straight to your house. No issues. Super easy. I see it's telling me I started a live video. Herbcider.com, man. We can send you this stuff. We're going to have a lot more options in cans. Right now we've got four varieties in cans, and we're going to bring in some others. Oh, there he is. You ready, dude? You want to get in on this? Let's see. How do we do this? Yeah. Okay, I'm bringing, there he is. Go live. Anyways, Bill's going to come on. He is prepared. Nah, what happened? That's the wrong one. Hold on, man. Trying to get you in. I am looking for... Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get Bill. Hey, Bill, send me a, what do you call it, a request, because I'm looking at the people here to bring you on. I had you there, and then I clicked on someone else's name, I guess, because it said someone else was joining me, and that's not who we need. So, and why can't you come on? Come on. All right, trying to get Bill on here. Down there on the bottom, Bill, I guess send a request or something. Isn't that how we do it? No, let's bring on you. Yeah, we're going to have Bill Burr on, funny comedian, and also a drummer, loves to play drums, which I don't know why he would want to do that. I'm looking for his name again. Oh, wait, I can search this? Oh, there we go. Sorry. Wilfred Burr. Searching. Oh, he's not showing up. Maybe he's not on. All right. So, Bill, if you can send me a thing so I can get you on here. I don't know. You're not showing up as an option. Yeah. So, anyways, herbcider.com, you guys. We've got 4 options in cans, and we're going to have some really good stuff. We got birdie juice coming back out, which is available this next week. We shall have probably not going to be too much. So if you want some, we have changed the style a little bit, and it's just plain Dave. No, that's not the guy I need. We've changed a little bit. It's going to have a little lemon lime flavor in it. So birdie juice is going to be rocking. And that should be here on Wednesday. All right. Yeah, I can't do a solo. I got to be here to click to bring him in. So, oh, wait. That's the wrong, just plain Dave. No, I'm looking for Wilfred Burr. Where are you? Come on, dude. Um, anyways, yeah. So, yes, as you can see, Fry Guy, Pineapple Margarita is here. Chris did our cider maker put together a little thing, and did a collaboration with 1,000 Acres down here in Bellingham, and it's a pineapple. Oh, there he is. All right, I need you to send a request. Go live. I got you. God, sorry. Anyways, there he is.
Hey,
Jesus, man.
what's going on?
I'm not a wizard at this. I'm learning.
I am not either.
I see your drums. Look at, there's mine.
Except you know how to play yours. Are those Ludwigs?
No, Tama.
Is that a Vista Lake?
Custom.
All right, you don't got to big league me this early. Oh, you
Yeah,
got like
there you go.
You got like the concert toms? No, nothing underneath, huh?
Yeah, nothing
Wow.
underneath. I don't know. I got into that like 20 years ago, and ever since then I've just loved it. I think you got to sit. Yeah, let me tell this story real quick. So what city was that where we
That
first
was
met?
at the legendary Austin City Limits.
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. I was trying to find a picture because we got a picture together there, but
Well, what was cool was you were in the middle of doing a modern drummer interview, and I came walking up like, oh yeah, hey, I'm the comic here. I was here last night. You looked at me like, who the heck is this idiot?
I did, totally. That's what I was about to say. Like, we did our sound check and everything, and then I was walking off the stage, and you were standing there, and then I said, hey, just didn't register at all, you know? And then we were walking down
like somebody should have given you the heads up. You're in the middle of a tour. You're trying to knock out this interview. You got a show to do that night.
Well,
I really thought I was that important. I was just like, hey.
Oh, yeah. So
jokes here last night.
just so everyone knows, yeah. So we're playing Austin City Limits, but you played the 2 nights before, sold out, and we did one show there, and then.
But I only did one. I don't remember, but I will tell you this. That's the first time I finally got to see you guys live, because when you guys hit was right when I started doing comedy. I started in March of '92. I think Sailing the Sea of Cheese was 91, 90, 91, something like that. So
yeah. That was Pork Soda was probably out 92, 93, because we did Lollapalooza with Pork Soda.
Yeah,
and that was 93.
All got to go to that show, and they said when there was My Name Is Mud, everybody was throwing mud, and they had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was working some hell rooms. So that was the first time I got to see you guys. And
okay.
I was just the combination of like musicianship, the songs that you played, and then all of that visual stuff going on in the background.
Right.
I vaguely remember elephants doing backflips, and I was like, oh God, I wish I did drugs.
I know.
Because this is amazing sober.
Yeah. But so Bill's on the side of the stage. We're doing sound check. I just didn't register who he was. And then, I'm walking down the hall, and my tour manager's like, hey, that's Bill Burr, and I'm like, oh, that's who that was. So I went back and it was like, oh, sorry, man. I didn't put it together in my head, yeah, like you said, running around. It's not like we're that busy, but yeah, I guess I was in some kind of little mode. But then,
in such a mode, you didn't remember you were at Austin City Limit. I as much as a comedian tours, nobody tours unless I guess when you're running for president, the way you guys do after every album. So,
yeah, you really forget where we don't even, we wake up on the tour bus and you actually don't even really know what city it is unless you look at your itinerary every night. And then, so you just get in the routine of just hopping on the bus and the driver just goes, and you don't even know where your next stop is until you wake up. You're like, oh, where are we at? What are we going to do? Oh, we got sound check or day off. It's crazy you get in that mode. So yeah,
with just playing drums and everything like that, what do you do to like stay? And then you're sitting down and you're playing drums for like 2 hours, and then you got to jump on a tour bus. How do you stop yourself from you're basically your tendons shriveling up? Do you stretch on the bus or something?
Oh, stretching is real important. I definitely I don't do as much as I should, but I definitely will do a little bit. Yeah, the calf muscles, and this is a big one, I think, is more, it's about the magnesium and potassium.
Well,
Sometimes when I'm on tour, I'll get cramp in my calf. I'll wake up in like serious pain. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a cramp, you know? And then it's like it's sore for 2 days after. And it's from all just jumping into touring and just playing and playing and playing. All of a sudden, those muscles feel it. And it's the potassium and magnesium is usually the sign that you're lacking in those when you get a cramp like that. So,
eat a banana.
well, yeah, that helps. But also, I think avocados have more than bananas do.
Oh,
And in terms of potassium, yeah.
what
So,
herb cider? Is that good for calf cramps?
come on, man.
Rub a little on your gums.
I know, and I've been trying to send you some for like ever since we were able to ship it, and you're like, oh no, I can't drink, man. I'm doing a movie. I know I can't do it. So now I've been listening to your, you know, I listened to the Great Bill Burr podcast. Everybody, you got to listen to that. It's hilarious. And you were just saying now you haven't 600 days now.
Yeah, a little over. It
A
was
little over now.
16th was 600 days. So, yeah, it's been a good thing. I definitely miss it. I'm definitely happy that I quit drinking before this, you know, pandemic and stuff. I still don't think I would have really gone off the rails because once you have a couple little kids around, it's like, oh my God, I'm the dad in Angela's ashes. I can't do
Yeah,
this.
I
Can't
know.
sit here getting. I mean, the first, you know, like year and a half, my daughter was alive. Like, I mean, I was, it was just knocking in my head, you know, and I definitely, the second she was born, it just kept tapering off and tapering off. And then I did a bunch of road dates and it just ramped up and I was loving it. And then just one day, I don't know, I literally said the night before, I was like, I'm never quitting. I love it. You know, and I was sucking down shots and stuff. And then the next day, like, all right, I feel like shit. I need to stop doing this. And then all I had to do was just get through the holidays. And once I got through the holidays and New Year's Eve, you know.
So what is it? I mean, look, I've never been a drinker. I would have a little bit when I was doing Pussifer. You know the Pussifer band, Maynard's band. You know that side that thing he
No,
does.
I knew
So
the
it's
one that
another band he
Josh
created.
Free, A Perfect Circle. I knew that one. I don't know that other.
Yeah, so he has this other one that I was in for a while, and we did some touring. Part of the show, it was almost like a vaudeville thing. Almost, it was music going on, but we had a few members and two drum sets, and with Jeff Friedel was the other drummer. And when, like, if we weren't doing double drums, one of the drummers would go sit down like on the stage at a table, and there's wine and there's cheese on the stage.
Wow.
So I started drinking a lot of wine during these shows, and then, you know, I could only do you know, a little bit of wine, and then I'd start getting a weird taste, you know.
Wine,
I
wine,
don't know.
worst hangovers I ever had. I could just never.
Yeah.
It turns your teeth gray. You just look like a crazy person after a while. Like one glass of wine, you're a class act, and anything after that, I feel like you blow past whiskey drinkers, and just become a hot mess.
Yeah.
I'll put the.
But yeah, and then after that, I started discovering cider, and that's how I fell into the cider thing. But I've never been a big drinker, but ever since this quarantine, I'm home. I'm like, I just start drinking a few, and then I start having a little bourbon.
I mean, it's the greatest thing. You know,
So
it's
wondering, like, why this pressure for you to just, does it really mess you up that bad that you're afraid that maybe you might
know what
mess
it
up your
was?
family or something?
I think the mistake I made was two things. I got into hard stuff, and
Right.
you know, when I get into something, I get into it. So then I was like, I got to try all the bourbons and do all of this stuff, and and then just like then I brought it home. Then I had bottles of stuff at home. You know, once you get to, you know, once you start selling a few tickets and people know who you are, going to a bar, it starts to
Yeah.
become it becomes a liability.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, because the cool people, generally speaking, are not the ones that come up to you. It's the guy who's about ready to puke, the guy with the soggy, wet hands. And like, I've always loved the dive bar. I love the quiet of a dive bar. I can't tell you, like, my whole friggin' life on the road, other than going to sporting events, was me telling the club owner I didn't want to go to the club, the night spot, the hot spot. I don't know what the fuck they call it. You know, the Grey Goose roped off VIP stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's like, no, I want to go to, like, give me a good dive bar. Like, I always enjoy, after a show, the quiet. And the last thing that I want to do is have to be yelling over the loudness. And plus, I also found that the really hopping places, there's a bunch of young people in there, and I just don't want to be the old creep there, you know, looking like a narc.
Well,
So,
we are now.
Oh, God, yeah. So I was just like, I don't want to be the old bald guy that's creeping out young people. Like, what's with that guy over in the corner? Even though I'm just, you know, sitting there having my drink, I just want to you know, I'm a big fan of like day drinkers and shit like that. I literally have to lean against the wall. My friggin' back is going to kill me here.
I know, yeah.
I just knew we had to have a drum kit in the back. That's what I saw in my rider.
Oh, dude, we don't have to. I just thought, hey, let's give people something a little different. Like, we could talk drums and.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I'll definitely show off my kit later.
Are you going to play a little bit?
Oh, I'll embarrass myself, sure.
Come on, yeah. I'll embarrass myself too, dude. I haven't even picked up the sticks in a little bit.
I've been playing a lot and I still suck. It's just like, if anything has confirmed
Look,
that I never had it, it's been the amount of time that I have to play drums, and I still suck as much as I do. I just can't.
No.
Like, I can figure out shit that guys, like, you know, play on the radio, but like being able to create it is something that I think it takes a little while to understand. That, like, the amount of kids that, you know, some of these kids too, with like sharing on social media, how good they can get, how fast. Like, you see these little kids, they can play Eruption. Van Halen Eruption. It's Eddie Van Halen. Like, when I was a kid, you just heard there's a guy 3 towns over. I saw him do it. And now there's like entire like rows. He's just scrolling people that can do it. But
yeah, and they can't even read a paragraph yet out of a book. And they're like, just.
Do you know what inspired me to finally get that Good Times, Bad Times 16th note triplet thing, which I'm up to almost 85 BPMs. I'm still like 10 BPMs.
You got to show me that, because I'm trying to figure out.
All right, I'll show it to you right now. I'll show it to you real. I'll do it slow. But what it was
I'll tell you how you can do it right. How about
okay,
that?
you tell me what I'm doing wrong. That's what I got on here. You tell me what I'm doing wrong.
All right.
So I there was this little girl, like, from Japan or something.
Right.
And I swear to God, she couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old. And she was playing this thing like she'd been on tour on Zeppelin 1 for, like, I mean, she was unbelievable. But she was so good. Even I saw a thing where Robert Plant was commenting on what she was doing.
Whoa, really?
Going like, yeah, that's amazing. And then the interview was going, I mean, that's like not an easy song. He goes, no. And he said something like she's playing it like she's falling off a log. So I got to put on my earphones because my headphones, because my fucking ears are shot.
Oh, yeah. No, I do that too.
I don't know how to, what do I do here? Do I just hold this here?
I don't know. Do you have a place you can set it so we can see you playing?
So it's basically, yeah, no, you know what? I do. I should be able to do this.
Yeah, just set it on the ground or whatever so it's aimed at your kit, you know.
Can you see?
Oh, I can see your foot, yeah.
I'll play it. I'll play it really slow and really badly. It's basically, it's just. Just basically, I hope that didn't sound too bad.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the down. Oh, wait. God
I'm
dang it.
back. I'm
Where
back.
are
I'm
you?
back.
Oh, there you go. All right. So you're talking about the part that down, down, hit that boom, 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 down, da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da.
And then in the end,
That?
he does that like 10 times in a row. And I would,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, that end where it was just like, and it's just the whole thing is a weird. It
The
was like
thing to remember,
yes.
the thing to remember here, when you do that, don't think of it as a right hand and then 2 feet, as if da ba boom. Think of it as da boom boom da boom boom da boom boom da boom boom.
Yeah, that's how I do think of it, and it still comes out like shit. You're where a prodigy is. You're dealing with the opposite here.
Hey, just the fact that you're playing is great. And believe me, here's the thing: I see these crazy kids. I've even some of the greatest drummers that I've admired, you know.
Uh-huh.
And a big part of it is you've got to have your vehicle, like the music that you're being heard in has you can't have I don't know, it's like I've seen amazing drummers and do clinics and stuff, but then if I listen to the music I'm like, I don't really like the music. And so it turns in the drumming becomes this like solo thing. So to me the greatest part is to
Open the
be,
door. It's fucking
yeah,
gets hot in here.
I know.
My
I'm
AC
all
doesn't work
locked
because
in
they
too.
put an AC here, but there's no way where for the other air to escape or for it to pull in. So
You're
it's
just
always hot as
smelling your
shit
own
here.
farts in there.
No, when I leave, I leave the door open and I play every other day.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just feeling like even at your level, you know, I've heard you. I think Larry did a gig with you, right?
Did we do a
With
gig? Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah. No, yeah, we did like the Dean Del Rey thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can go play a gig in front of people, you've got it. You're fine. You
Well,
don't
yeah.
have
If
to.
you want me to play your backyard wedding, I think I could.
Yeah, but man, you're playing the songs. It's that's all that's necessary. If you're trying to be like an artist, and you know, for me, when I was coming up, it was Neil Peart, Stuart Copeland, so I imitated them. But
Oh,
they're
so that's why you had all that cool hi-hat stuff. So
I
Stewart
had
had all of that.
well, I did some of it, and then you know, when I joined Primus, the drummer before me, Jay Lane, he was a big funk drummer. So a lot of the, I don't know, half of the first album on the Primus stuff, we had learned this existing Primus stuff, and some of those drum parts were Jay Lane, like hi-hat stuff. His big thing was really busy hi-hat and just keeping a, you know, kick snare, but the hi-hat was just crazy busy.
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, for me, Stuart Copeland, yeah, it was a lot of the hi-hat stuff. But the music is what's cool, is the music they did, they played what they felt fitted. You know, I remember seeing Neil say when they were making their early Rush stuff, they were still learning their instrument. So I think what you're
That's
doing,
crazy.
you're most likely able to play. You just got to find the right music to where you're
I'm
able to play.
52. I think at this point I would have found it. I know what you mean.
Maybe. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. But
Yeah, I
I don't know.
never got
Anyway,
into
I'm just
Rush because
saying you're probably fine, man. I wouldn't worry about it.
I never got into Rush because like when I would listen to like the lyrics and stuff, I felt like it was the exact same feeling I felt when I would take a class and within the first week I'd be like, I'm not passing this class. Like, it's like I don't know what these guys are. I never knew what any of their songs were about.
Oh,
I just
really?
I just no. I had no idea. I knew the drummer was great, and I knew what they were doing was really difficult. But like, I just didn't think I was smart enough. Because if I showed you some of the bands that I listened to instead of Rush, I mean, remember when MTV was all hair metal,
Yeah, yeah.
top 10? Dude,
Right.
I listened to all of that, and you had to be pretty fucking lame for me to not think you were a good band. As far as like once they all became like cookie cutter, and I listened to a lot of bands where like every other song title had the word rock in it. I'll put it that way.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's very. I go back and I look at some of that stuff. It's very like Spinal Tap kind of thing. But what I do like is seeing the bands that were able to survive it. Being, you're always judged by the worst. So a lot of that metal music was great, but like when they look back on the '80s, it's just like disco. There was some great disco songs, but in the end, they just picked
Yeah.
like Disco Duck and horrible songs to try to represent that era in pop
Right.
music. There was some great bands, and what I did love was that everybody back then at the very least could play. And some of this auto tune stuff is like I've really had to not be the. I mean, I failed, but I tried not to be the grumpy old man. Back when I was a kid, you either could sing or you couldn't.
I know.
But like I always just say, like there was a bunch of people. I mean, I can't imagine what an old person who grew up listening to like Stan Getz thought about me watching guys in drag singing about the devil. He probably thought that was the worst stuff ever. So,
Oh yeah, for sure.
What are you gonna do?
I know, huh? I don't know what it was, man. I heard Spirit of Radio on a radio, and that was it. I was like, holy crap! Like that's the Rush. Dun dun dun. And I was like, oh
I don't
my
even know that
God.
song. I'm embarrassed to say. I know Tom Sawyer.
Well,
I know the song where they rapped, where they tried to do a little hip hop.
Yeah. That was past my time.
I know, but that was just because I'm an asshole comedian, and I was on morning radio, and like, what are they gonna do? Play the good Rush song? They had to play something that they could make fun of them for.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't do that with my act.
So there's a story for that freaking song. I think it's that song. Yeah, it is that song. We were in tour in Europe opening up for Rush, and Neil was driving in a car. He wasn't on the tour bus. He was driving with a buddy in a car from city to city so they could see the country and all that shit. And in Paris, or outside of Paris, I think it was Paris, sound check time, Neil's not there. And so I get a knock on the door, and they're like, dude, Neil's not here. They want you to come and do sound check.
Oh my God.
I know. And I'm like, I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I went down there. I didn't know. I thought maybe I had to bang the drums. But then Getty and Alex are standing there with their stuff on waiting. And so I was like, oh man, I got to play a song. And then I'm on Neil's kit. But Neil's kit, man, not at all like me. He's way taller, way bigger. His drums are spread out. I could barely reach half the shit. And so I was just trying to hit the drums to see, okay, this is where my arms go to hit that sound. Just so I could quickly make a mental note of like, okay, these are where all the sounds are, because you had a lot going on. And I hit this little pad, and it makes that burp sound in that song, Roll the Bones, where they do the rap. And I remember the song just from hearing it every night. And I didn't know the song, and all of a sudden we're playing Roll the Bones, and I don't know it. And I'm like, this is my chance to sound check. We could have done something so cool from like the old days, and I'm playing this song that I don't even know.
Oh no!
And then Neil shows up, and it's like, I just ruined that. I just ruined my whole.
So how long did you get to play with them for?
Oh, it was like a couple minutes. We started doing sound check and playing the tune. And like I said, I only knew it just from watching the show every night. And then, Neil finally makes it. And he comes in and comes up on stage, and I'm behind his drums. But it was just like, oh man, we could have. I wondered if they would have played something really cool, like from the old days, you know.
Did
That
they pick that song just because you hit that sound source? Like,
yeah,
oh no.
the sound went off, and then it was like, oh, okay. They start playing. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really know that we were actually going to play it. It just kind of rolled into it, and the next thing I know, that was it. It was over. Neil shows up, and then they do their sound check. So that was my Rush sound check
Yeah, but
story.
that's still sick that you got to go on tour with them, and then you got to even if you just sit in for 2 minutes.
Hey, we also had, before the shows, we had we were touring a lot back then, so we had gear with us, and we would set it up in the dressing room. And so they didn't have any stuff backstage, so they would come over and jam on our gear. So we had little jams in our dressing rooms of like on like igloo coolers, Neil banging on coolers while I'm playing a kid, or you know, and we were all just, it was really interesting. They really started kind of, I think at that point it felt like they were maybe a little distant because they were in their modes for so long that they had their routines. They started getting together and jamming backstage, just making noise, you know, just playing around. And I think that was kind of cool. It was in to see, you know.
Did you? So you think you guys brought that out of them a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. I just it felt like, you know, up to a certain point in the tour, you know, there wasn't any of that going on, and then eventually, yeah, I think it just kind of, I don't know, man. I can't say we did anything. It felt like it became a pretty fun environment for everybody to come backstage and just play whatever, you know. We weren't playing songs, so. But
I wanted to know how you developed your double bass playing, where I just felt like there, before you came along, there was such, like, as far as the music I was listening to, a lot of people used the double bass, at least what I was listening to, you know, obviously for like the song, or they just use it for like a solo. And I always thought it was really interesting that you had this huge kit, but we're not overplaying. And most of it was just based on snare hi-hat. And then when you needed to, when you would add the double bass, I always felt like you still had the swing, that swing feel under it, where I just thought, like so many other players up until then, like if somebody played double bass, it was that real like machine gun, right on the beat, no sort of no feel. You didn't move, as you were just sort of more amazed at the physicality of the guy playing. Like, wow, man, that guy looks like he's running for his life while he's playing drums and stuff. And then all of a sudden, you know, Vinnie Paul and Primus and all these. I'm sorry, Vinnie Paul with Pantera comes out.
Right.
And he's doing all the stuff that he was doing. I felt like the most creative double bass that I had heard up until then, as far as what I was listening to, was I always loved Alex Van Halen. Where he would throw it in. Like, he has a little double bass lick at the end of that song, Jump, one of the most pop things ever. I think it is because he did sometimes use like those triggers or whatever, and it may have been Tom's, but it was, if you listen towards the end of the song and they're kind of riding it out,
right,
and it's fading out, it's almost like that phrase Stuart Copeland does, except he does it on the snare drum in Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. You know, and it's like 3, then 4, then 5, and then hit the crash. He almost does that with his feet. I'm probably not describing it correctly, but
wow. God, I'm trying to recall that. I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah,
you know, Alex, I definitely listened to him a lot when I was growing up. And it actually, when they first came out, it made me want to play guitar. So I was always on my friends. My buddy had his amp at my house, and so I'd grab his guitar. I was trying to learn all that Van Halen, but I didn't know they tuned down half step. So nothing, I could never figure it out. I was like, what the hell? Nothing sounded right. But I loved that. But I always ended up back in the drums. But Alex was one. But the double bass stuff, a lot of that, you know, Neil Peart did a lot of the accents where it's just before like a snare and a cymbal.
Oh, he do like a rough with his feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he would do stuff like that.
he did that a lot, and that's where I got those. But then my mentality at one point was I had this idea of like a kind of approaching drums like a drum machine, because in those 80s, late 80s, there was a lot of that kind of machine type sounds happening. So what you would get is like the hands doing the backbeat, and like Jerry was a race here.
Yeah.
Can we rock a little bit?
Nice. I was hoping if I played drums horribly, it would make you want to fix this podcast and play yourself.
It's not going to fix anything. But if I can even get behind here, I box myself in half the time. Yeah, so, wait, you might be able to, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So one of the songs, like, Jerry was a race car driver, you know, our big kind of
sure.
well-known song. The idea behind that is this groove. Let me see. But then the feet being more looser to add the accents rather than the hands doing it. That's my mentality was that, which was obviously I had like the ride cymbal and shit going on.
Yeah.
But that
is that three before? Is you doing 3 or 4 hits? I can't hear over the phone.
Yeah, it's a right, left, right, real quick. A right, left, right on the feet.
Yeah. I never wanted to play double bass till I heard you, and then I heard you playing it because my brothers were all into thrash, and I was sitting there like I was like Bonham, Steven Adler, Stan Lynch. I like those guys with the little kits who could just crush it. And and somebody told me, "Oh, double bass is cheating," like they, you know, so stupid. That whole comment. So you're the one, and I've been trying to play that Jerry was a race car driver forever. Tommy the Cat. I actually have the sheet music. I found good sheet music for Tommy the Cat for some of the trickier parts. I got it buried over there in the corner.
Right. Yeah, that's a weird one. We haven't played that in a while. Usually over the years, it just kind of, it turns into whatever I'm used to doing, you know? So live, it's not necessarily accurate. But Jerry, for some reason, I've obviously gotten a lot better. And My Name is Mud, you know, at the end, me and Les do that drum and bass thing at the end of My Name is Mud.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot cleaner over the years. But I remember doing that recording of like Jerry, and if you listen to the record, like the double bass is not that clean sometimes, and I was still kind of, when I recorded it, I was still kind of trying to figure out to make it happen.
That's hilarious because I've never noticed that. I do have a weird thing where I'm right-handed and left-handed. So when double bass comes in, I got this weird thing where for some reason on that, you know, when you did that, you do that right, left, right, and then the snare hit.
Yeah.
For some reason, I go left, right, left. I don't know why.
Well, it's weird. I start most of my stuff with my left foot. I do that too.
Yeah,
if I do like a quick accent,
yeah,
it goes left, right, snare. Like, so if I'm doing, that's always with the left foot. I think the majority of my stuff starts with the left foot.
Well, it always made sense to me.
Even the end of Mud, which is, that's a right hand, left foot, right foot.
Yeah.
So this is my left foot. I know it's backwards in the video, but this is my left
I could
foot.
never play that for the longest time because I thought that that you were playing all of those notes on your feet and then riding on the floor tom. So I thought that you were playing like if that's more of a 16th note triplet, I thought you were playing all 6 notes of the triplet.
Oh.
Yeah, so I obviously like I can't play that.
That's a good idea.
I don't know about that.
No, but see, that's my thing. I don't like to use the double bass like you said, like you're running for your life. I heard guys do it and it's cool, but then I always felt like, well, there's nowhere to go from that. So that's why I do a lot of and there's a song
let me try. I got a bit of a thing here. Let me try that.
Yeah, try it.
Figure that out. People can sit here and watch me practice drums. This is what I do.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Here we go. This will work with this.
Everyone's sick and tired of just sitting and watching people talk. So
I think this will work.
Action.
All right. Well, I got a 14 here. I got a 14 here, so it's going to sound like shit. So I at least got to ride on the 16, right? Can you see me? Whoa.
Yeah, it looks great.
All right. Let me see here. So you go right, left, right.
No, I go right hand, left foot, right. Yeah. There you go.
That was my Jerry was a race car driver.
Yeah, that was good.
I played that one more, but then I always get lost in that part where it was like.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
No, here's the way to do it. Just
this is like the greatest drum lesson ever. I'm literally getting it from the guy who played it.
When you're doing that part, cut out the notes and just do the quick flam. So. I don't know. But yeah, make it easy. Just do a quick left right snare, left foot.
Oh,
right
left
foot
right snare. Oh, okay.
That'll keep it. See, or sometimes I will do 3 with the feet, then the left hand. That turns into a right left right on the foot, then the snare.
Because then you're basically playing.
That's a right left right.
You know what one I've been trying to mess with for the longest time is I'm Broken by
oh my God.
Pantera.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think the down at the verse.
Isn't that oh yeah.
Ah shit, come on. How it goes, but I became like such a huge Pantera and Vinnie Paul fan. Like I got into everything so friggin' late. By the time I got into keep saying Primus, Pantera, they had already broken up and nobody was talking to anybody, and it was a big shit show. Right. You watch now that Neil's dead, I'll finally get into friggin' Rush. Like that's what I do. Like I was listening to Peter Green. Peter Green died, and I know Mark Maron's a huge fan of his. He was the first guy I ever heard that brought up Peter Green. I was like, I got to listen to this guy.
Wait, Peter Green from
the original Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he, one of the great guitarists of all time. Some people say the greatest.
Oh, right. Sorry, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and
that was recent. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had some mental health issues and stuff. Things went south, so then they moved on and blah, blah. I don't want to talk about because I don't know much about the story, but I ended up listening. He has an album that he did like literally right after he got kicked out or left Fleetwood Mac, And it was just like he went to the studio one night and jammed with some friends, musicians, and they just spliced up the jams and made the whole album. And I've been listening to that. It's an incredible album. And I discovered this drummer I'd never heard of. He's kind of an obscure guy, but he had a great foot and feel. And Godfrey McLean. Never heard the guy's name.
No.
And I had to go deep into the internet to try to find any information. Like he's listed on the track listing of it on the album, which I already forget the name of the album because it's so new to me. But they have he's got a song called Burnt Foot was what they end up calling the jam. And he's doing a little bit of that Bonham sort of, quick doubles,
All right.
but more of like with a different sort of feel. And what I find incredible about stuff like that is how nobody was really doing that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Zeppelin 1 comes out, and like Billy Cobham and guys like that all come out in the same like era, and then then it just becomes something that everybody can do because once somebody does it, it's like, oh, I never thought to do that. And then it, like with speed, if you sit down and you have technique and you're going to be stubborn enough, you can catch up to anything for the most part. And I just find that fascinating as far as I've seen that in stand-up. I've seen that in when Michael Jordan came out, the shit he was doing, I never saw anybody do. And by the time the 90s came along, that was part of the new generation's game. Like stuff that made people 5, 6 seasons before, 8 seasons before go like, I don't even know what I just saw this guy do. It just became part of what,
the standard.
Yeah, and that's why, like, when someone will say, oh, this guy, he's better than Jordan. He's doing all the dunks Jordan did. It's like, yeah, but he came up with those things. He's the guy that showed before he came along. It's like you couldn't win. No, it was like you can't win unless you got a big man. You need your Kareem, you need your Bill Russell, and he won without it. Like I actually think he was so good and so ahead of his time. He sort of, in a way, ruined basketball for 10 years because there was people that didn't have his skill set. They could do his dunks, but didn't have his skill set or his mindset, thought they could do what he did. And the team game kind of left the NBA for like a good 8 to 10 seasons. It was weird. It was just like everyone was out there doing like sort of and one style, trying to win a championship, which is cool to see night in and night out. But if you're trying to win a series, it just never seemed to work.
Well, I remember, Metallica for me was a big like, oh man, listen to the double bass on that, And I remember seeing him on the cover of Modern Drummer, and I was reading about it and how he said he would, do sprints before the show to get his legs moving, all this shit. And then that became like, whoa, I've never heard that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden Pantera comes out.
Yeah.
And it's clean and it's way, way intense. And the placement of the notes, the multiple
Well, after Metallica, then all of a sudden, then Slayer came out and it got even faster. Because I remember when Injustice for All, and I was not big in the thrash world, but like when Injustice for All came out, and they did that song about the soldier who gets injured in battle.
Oh yeah,
that, the part where they would actually show Lars's feet going. I was just like you can't get any faster than.
Yeah, I know.
And now. Like there's like 5-year-old kids look at that like they're like lame.
But that's the same. I know, and that's the same thing. I think what is it, Malcolm Gladwell, the tipping point. It's like where someone, I think he wrote the book on it, where someone does something that you get to that certain point that no one's done before. Now everybody in their conscious knows they can do it now.
Yeah, it's attainable.
Everyone can do it. It's weird. There's something pretty deep about that. As like in drumming, we've seen it happen over time. I'm sure there were drummers there, Billy Cobham or what, have been able to blast out super fast kick notes back in the 70s. But yeah, there were bands doing it, Slayer, but it was the way, like in that song One by Metallica, it was the way the music fit that drum part, or what they did together, what made it so powerful. And
that album is still, I don't know, it's still ridiculous.
And
Still ridiculous to me.
Master of Puppets before that was just as cool,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure, man.
Those were fun times. It was fun to grow up there. I feel like a lot of like those I've seen it in like music and in comedy where somebody is just so far ahead that
well, who was it for you in comedy that was like, geez.
I'll tell you something. Like I would just say misunderstood. What
Okay.
I always said, I joked one night with Sarah Silverman, where I was like, you in a way remind me of Eddie Van Halen. And I explained it where like Eddie Van Halen came out and was doing like all that, the tap on stuff, but it was all like a blues based thing. And he had so much feel and everything that like, there's still like a little slide in that's an Ice Cream Man where he slides up into a note. I still have to rewind it every time I hear it. Still makes the hair on my arm stand up. And he blew everybody's mind. And by the time the 80s came along, so many of the lead guitarists, because they didn't have his talent, applied what they saw him doing as when a solo comes, play as many notes as fast as possible. It got distilled down to, I'm a lead guitarist. That means when I have to play a lead, I play a zillion notes as fast as I possibly can. And I bend and I do these harmonic things. And they just sort of like it was, and I felt with Sarah was so different than anybody else that was out. And then I felt like for a while there was this generation that came after her that misunderstood what she and distilled what she did into Pretty Girl Says Fuck. So it became like this really like this time of like, over the top, like dirty for being the sake of being dirty. And and just to be fair here, because I don't want anybody getting all in their fucking feelings. It happened with guys too, with like with Kinnison and Dice. I felt like they were really misunderstood. And it was just like go up there and be loud and just say crazy things.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks was a guy where people all of a sudden you saw a lot of guys wearing leather jackets and smoking a cigarette, going fucking society, man. And they had nothing to say. Myself included. Minus the cigarette. Like we all kind of went through like, hey, let me see if I'm the Bill Hicks guy. And I really am. I guess I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I'm going to go back to being this asshole guy that I am. So I'm fascinated with whatever I get into. I try to find those people. Like who's the person that was so ahead of their time that people still don't quite get what they did? Because I remember seeing Eddie one time talking about the sound he was going for in his guitar.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with playing a zillion notes. He was like, I wanted to make the guitar sound like it was dying. And I was just like,
whoa, really?
Like, yeah, like that is
Holy
fucking
shit.
I mean, how deep that is, other than by the time the 80s came along and someone was playing, like, making the faces and pointing at the camera.
Oh, right.
Flicking their tongue and shit.
That he's trying to kill it, make his guitar sound like it's dying.
Yeah, and then you see what he did to his guitar, where I think he had like maybe he had like a Strat, and then he wanted the big Gibson pickups. I don't know much about guitar, and he just sort of made like a mad scientist put this thing together, and like was such a like a laser focused guy. And then just being a fan of Van Halen and Pantera, I find it so fascinating, both of those groups, how groundbreaking they were with the lead guitarist sound. And I felt in both those bands, the guitar player cast such a long shadow that I still don't realize. I still don't think a lot of people who aren't drummers realize how great Alex Van Halen and Vinnie Paul are because of Eddie and Dimebag being, just, like the guitarist, for someone who isn't a musician, is just so up front. They're standing up front. They get to take a solo.
Right.
You know what I mean? So on almost every song.
I got to see him live, man. And even if you look on YouTube, you can see those old Van Halen shows, man. It's like amazing, not only musicianship, but David Lee Roth just out there being like the front guy, like
the greatest front man.
He will entertain you. You're just like, oh my God. And he didn't sing he didn't sing anything. The whole I watched the shows. He's just being an entertainer the whole time. And like the lyrics are just something
But the
else, you
thing
might
is,
get there.
early on, because back then I don't think anybody warmed up. They smoked cigarettes and drank booze and stuff. They didn't take care of their voices, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had to sing live, and they weren't singing the tracks. And like that's like Robert Plant, you know, with that song remains the same.
Oh
He
yeah.
always said that was the end of the tour. My voice was shot, and there's
Oh wow.
idiots out there going like, I don't think he can even sing the way they have it on the. It's like, dude, you caught him on a bad night at the end of not a bad night, but
Yeah,
it was just
yeah,
the end of the tour. But like if you watch some of those really early Van Halen tours, you know
yeah.
that signature yell he had, he
Oh
could do
yeah.
it, and he would do it every night, and there's just no way that was good for your voice. So by the time, and then he also was jumping up doing splits. Like you see him now, he can barely move, and I just hate the disrespect that the guy gets. It's like it's like you'd be making fun of Jim Brown on from the Cleveland Browns when he's 80 and he's got to use a cane and stuff. So, he didn't
Yeah.
gain all of those yards. It's like, yeah, he did, and that's why
Yeah.
he's moving like that. So,
Well, good thing we've got it all on film, man. It's incredible. Hey, I think as far as an Instagram live thing, this is about to end in 4 minutes.
oh, okay.
So, do you want to end this? I was contemplating maybe we'd keep going.
Dude, I got 2 kids under the age of 4.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I was
I got to
thinking
go
about
in
it
there.
too.
I got to go feed some
No, I know.
youngsters in there. Oh, by the way,
How is the family? How is the family doing?
they're great.
Everybody cool?
I'm trying to get my daughter to play. She,
All right.
kids love drums, and I finally I got her. It's weird. I got her some little drumsticks, kid-sized drumsticks. I don't know if you can see them over there on the floor, the blue ones.
Yeah, yeah.
But the problem is she's sitting on my kits and my stuff's so far away. It's almost better if she uses my stuff. So,
Yeah.
at
Gotta
buddy
get
mine
a
around.
little kid. Get a little kid kit.
That's
It's
what I'm gonna
super
do.
awesome.
Buddy of mine
Yeah.
around the corner has one. I'm gonna slap some new heads on it, and I got
Yeah.
an old Speed King pedal over there.
Oh
And,
yeah, they'll
yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
try
good.
to get my daughter on here too. She bangs around, just waiting to see if there's any of that passion, you know, that's like, oh, this is what I do. I don't think she's an amazing dancer. I don't know that she can play some beats, but yeah, I don't know that's her
I
passion.
know it's like you don't want to force them, but you want to be
No.
like. I mean, when I was a kid, I would have killed to have a little drum room. It's
Oh
funny.
my God.
I think they just go the opposite direction of you. So
Yeah, that could be.
I almost bought like one of those little like decent small kits like that one Quest sells the Ludwig one.
Oh
And
really?
I almost went out and bought that, and then I'm just going like, but what if she's not into it? Then I got this little kid. What am I going to do with it? So
Right.
I got a little toy one I'm going to set up. That's it.
Wow. You're down in LA, right?
Yes, I am.
All right.
All of us Hollywood phonies.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
got
yeah,
on this to try to build my brand.
Yeah, man. You've got 2 minutes real quick. So Bill's got what's that movie the King of
King of Staten Island, which is out there in the streaming world.
Okay.
I
haven't seen it yet. I saw an ad for it, so I'll look for it.
Oh, God knows you got time, man. I don't know. I mean,
I know.
Unless you're shipping cider up to all of these people.
Yeah. I know. Everybody order some cider.
Yeah, it's a great.
When you're ready.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying when you're ready, let me know, man. It'll be there.
You know what? When I come off the wagon, if you're somehow off tour, and I got a gig, what you in Washington?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're up there, if it's a nice cold day, and you got that cider, I mean that sounds very, very appetizing.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right.
All right, dude. Thank
you
so much, and thank you for the little drum lesson in there. I hope there was some other young Primus fans out there. Not like I'm young, got something out of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything in there, but yeah,
there is. And I still have your DVD. I still have your
that?
DVD when you played in like Chicago.
Oh my God! Oh, that's a whole nother story. Shit.
I have to come on again. I love that DVD because none of the other music is in the way.
Oh really?
Oh, I love it.
Oh wow. Well, let's plan something for later then. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this. And,
no worries.
And maybe we'll get some people, get some cider. It's curbcider.com, you guys.
Absolutely.
We got the killer cider. And Bill, thank you so much.
I gave
and
it out to all the guys down the Comedy Store when you sent me that case, and they loved it. They've been, bugging. They
right.
bugged me about it for like 6 months, going, he only sent me one case.
Oh, you want? Okay, okay, we'll take care of that.
Well, don't send it now because the club isn't open. When it gets open, I'll talk to the owners about getting your stuff in there.
Yeah, man.
All right.
All right.
Old man
Have fun,
getting up.
dude.
Old man noises.
Thank you. That's